Today we will focus on a key idea, the key idea of structure, which is going to be the key idea of all this course. Why? Because to understand complex things, we organize them using structures. The most common structure that we are going to see in this course are tables, hierarchies, and networks. For example, text documents have a hierarchical structure. We can see it in paper and thesis and so on. You have sections, every section has subsections, and subsection can have lists, can have figures, and tables, and so on. Let's start comparing two versions of the same paper. This is a paper that it is useful to read in any case. You can find the paper 10 Simple Rules for Online Learning in this web address, and I can put the link in this video description. The first version is online, is in what we call pub reader format. It's very beautiful. And I want to compare it with this second version, which is a plain text format. So what is the difference between these two versions? The first version has text and style at the same time. It is a rich text document in which it is easy to identify titles and sections. The second version is plain text. Some people say boring text. There is no style. There is nothing that helps us to understand what is the author, what are the sections. So decorations are used to mark the structure. For example, bold letters, italic letters, bigger letters, centering are keys that indicate us what are the structure of the document. People can do that even with a typewriter. If you write this document, you would write something like this, underlines and bold letters. In fact, I can show you this is a real document writing in 1946 with a typewriter, in which you can see that the title is with capital letters and the section is underlined and so on. You can also do the same in Word. For example, here we have the plain text document, and I'm going to start marking everything and changing the font for a basic one, the default one, and a normal size. This is more or less what we get when we open a document in Word. Then you would like to mark the title with, let's say, bold letter and a bigger font size. We would like the journal to be marked with, let's say, italics. We may make an empty line to separate the journal from the author. And in fact, we would like to put empty lines or some kind of spacing between paragraphs. And when we have a section, we would like to mark it with, let's say, bold letters. And so on. You will have to go one by one, finding all the sections and marking them with bold letters and so on. Now, at the end, you get something like this. This is what most people do when they use Word. But this is not the best idea. There is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is style is not the same as structure. Word processor, like Microsoft Word, what you see is what you get. It is easy to change the type of letter, the size, the color, and other visual attributes, other style attributes without changing the structure. We only change the visual part and not the structure. And that is not a good idea because a document is like a house. Structure in a house is what makes the house to be solid. If you only care about decoration, about painting, the house may look nice, but it's not solid. The first part that you have to be aware is structure. Then you can care about decoration. So for example, if you spend too much time choosing font and color, or your document style is incoherent, sometimes you have bold, sometimes you have underline, sometimes you have italic, or if changing the style is a lot of work, or you spend a lot of time trying to make a table of content, or in summary, if you use the mouse a lot, then you are doing something wrong. It is important for us to separate the form of the document and the content of the document. The important part is the content, the text. Writing and choosing the style at the same time is a bad idea. What you should do is to write first, focus on your content, on the ideas that you want to say, and care about the style later. Choose the style just before publishing. So you should not care about what you see. You should care about what you mean, what you want to say. The information that you enter, that you give to the computer, define the meaning of the document. You have to mark the structure of the document. Then the program can generate beautiful output, and you can change it later. Style can change later. So for example, we can see many versions of the same paper that we just saw. One version is directly in PubMed Central, the database of papers. It can also be in PubReader format. We also saw this one. It can be in PDF format. Or it can be in the Public Library of Science website, directly in the journal website. All these documents have the same structure, even if they have different styles. How do we write a structured document? How do we write a structured document? First, you should separate jobs. You are a scientist, not a graphic designer. Ideally, the graphic design should be done by someone else. If not by a professional graphic designer, you can use the computer that works as a graphic designer for you. You should focus on your science. So when you write your paper, focus on what are the structural elements, meaning the section, subsections, paragraphs, lists. Lists can be numbered or unnumbered. And in our case, it's important to focus on computer code. There are other structural elements that you should be aware of, like figures. Figures have their own part called captions. That means the description and details of every figure. You will also have tables. Tables have headers. They can also have caption. And they have a series of columns and rows. You probably will also have reference and citation to other journals. And finally, you will include some data about your data, like the author, date, and journal where the paper is published. The decorative elements are not essential. You should not worry about the color of your text, the font family, the font size. You should not care about centering. You should not care about section numbering, because all these things you can change them later, hopefully at the last minute. Okay, how we do this in Word? Let's go. Now we will not use the decorative part Instead, we are going to mark everything and use this side of the Word tool, which correspond to styles. We can even open here a list of all the styles available in this document. The first style we will use for the title, we mark it here. The journal will be marked with a subtitle. Then the most important part is to indicate the sections. I'm going to mark it here with heading of first level. If we have subsection, we will use header level 2. And I will quickly do it for all the other sections. We are ready. We can close this section. So this operation, marking the style in Word, give us this tool. We marked every structural element with the corresponding style. And the point is, now we have structure. We can observe what are the sections of the document because they are marked as sections. If we only have decoration, we will have something that may look similar but without the structure. When you have the styles, it is easy to change the design. You can have this look that is always coherent. All the sections have the same look. And it's very easy to change to new designs, different themes among the design, different colors. You can create many beautiful things very quickly. The advantage of this approach is that the document will look nicer with less effort because you only have to choose the meaning, not the style. It is easier to read and understand because the structural elements are well marked. The style is coherent. For example, if you are writing the final project for molecular biology, you will need to follow the rules of the official style. It is easy to make a table of content of the document. The distance between the paragraph is correct and the page breaks are in the correct places. All these things can be easily done when you use styles. For example, if I want now to include a table of content, I just insert here. I insert my table of content here. Okay. Automatic. Page numbers are in the correct place. You should also know that the same can be done in PowerPoint. There is a section called Master Style. For example, here I have a slide corresponding to this class. And if we go to Design, we can change the look of all the document. But if you want to change the look of all your slides, for example, here I have a section header, and I want to change what is the section header, I should go to View, Master, Slide Master. Here you can change the look of all the slides that have the same layout. For example, I can make it bold, and I can change the color to unread. And now all the section headers have the same look. In summary, documents need structure. Structure is more than just style. Structure should come first and style should come at the end, and you should focus only on the structure, not in the style.